Hello and welcome to the Virtual Care Basket. I'm Aisha Hilton and I invite you to find out more at virtualcarebasket.com. I hope you enjoy this interview. Okay, good morning and good afternoon or good evening. We do have someone from Canada on the line with us, so I know it's evening over there. So I just want to welcome you to another Virtual Care Basket and Cafe session. And today I've got the gorgeous Nicci Ashby with me. And for those who don't know her, she's quite amazing. She lives in Ballarat and she bootstrapped her first business, FIFO Families, in 2010, making a massive impact on the mining, oil, gas and gas industry by advocating for workers and families who are living the fly-in, fly-out lifestyle. And my current partner, Shane, he was a FIFO. So I've heard a bit about that lifestyle firsthand, and it's one of the reasons he's not a FIFO now, because it is so challenging for families. So with Nicci's husband working offshore on a roster of 28 days on and 28 days off, it's almost too much time away and too much time together, maybe. Nicole found herself isolated and alone, solo parenting 3 children, aged 4.5 and under. So that's a lot when you're by yourself. And so she was tapping into her social network and teaching skills and decided to do something to help the other 100,000 FIFO workers and their families, and predominantly the wives and female partners at home across the country, through her company called FIFO Families. So during all of that time, her business escalated and she became a darling of the media using her direct messaging, and she rode the wave of media, and she was on The Project, The Today Show, The Australian, ABC, even BBC Radio, The Fin Review, SBS News and The 7:30 Report. So she's got a lot of experience with the media, and so she's taken that experience and is now helping other people get their message across in the media. She's also was a dual finalist in the Telstra Businesswoman of the Year Awards and the Telstra Business of the Year Awards Woman of the Year, so the general one and then the women's one, and a dual winner in the West Australian 40 under 40 awards. So I just want to say big welcome to Nicci. I'm really excited to have you here with us and to share your expertise during this time when there are opportunities to promote your business, especially if you are pivoting. And I was on the Courier website, which is the Ballarat local paper, the other day reading an article, and they had an embedded Google form or in there saying, do you have a good news story? So I popped in the Virtual Care Basket and I had a call with the Benjamin from the Courier, a reporter, and then the photographer came on the weekend and took a very unflattering photo of me. He's photographed me before and I'm sure I'm going to look the size of a house, but I've got to let my vanity go and just go with the flow. And so there are definitely opportunities, especially good news stories, when there's such a plethora of bad news out there. People are really looking for inspiration in business. So I'm going to hand over to Nicci, and if you're listening on Facebook Live, please pop your questions in the chat and I will, or in the comments, and I'll try and find them on multiple platforms. And on the Zoom, you can either later, we'll have some question time and you can unmute yourself or ask your questions in the chat. So thank you.
Don't forget to record.
Oh yes. Oh shit. Oh no, I don't need to worry about it. Actually, it's going. Yeah. I get my recording. So excuse my swearing.
Thanks, Aisha. Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity, and really happy just to share with you all the different media opportunities that are out there. I guess I'm kind of trained in the media now in terms of seeing stories and knowing how the media work and the cycles that they use. And I've been tapping people on the shoulder over the last 3 weeks saying, you should really be putting yourself out here, because I know the media is going to be talking about this. So, for example, exercising at home, physiotherapists moving their consults online, just as 2 examples. And one person that I've tapped has had some local media coverage, but I've seen international people getting coverage here in Australia about streaming and delivering their workouts online, and same with physiotherapists. So it's happening, and the ones that I'm tapping on the shoulder, generally within about 3 to 5 days, I'm seeing the stories play out live through the media. And then I've been working with people in Victoria and WA who I'm kind of just saying to them, look, have you thought about this? Because the media is still looking for stories. It doesn't all have to be, as Aisha said, doom and gloom, but what the media is looking for is how are people coping? How can you help people at the moment in your business and otherwise? What are you doing in your business that's a little bit different? So how have you made that pivot? And what does that pivot look like? Because your pivot will help other business owners. And yeah, we still need information. They still need news. So it can be related to the virus, but doesn't have to be specifically. So many opportunities out there. It's unbelievable. They're everywhere.
So what tips do you have for people to be able to even just contact their local media outlets? So for those in Ballarat, it's obviously the Courier and 3BA and other radio stations.
Yeah.
So I guess like most people, if they haven't approached a media outlet before, they're sort of not sure what to do, and it's a bit scary.
It is a bit scary. And that's I think one of the biggest hurdles for people is when you talk about the media, quite often the imposter syndrome will come forward and say, oh, we're not good enough to be in the media. We're not experts. You know, who are we to think the media want to listen? But as I said, the media are always looking for stories, and now is such an opportune moment to reach more people. So locally, and I always say to people, wherever you are, start local and then grow. So, you know, if you're in Ballarat, the Courier or the Ballarat Times, ABC Radio Ballarat, 3BA, even Voice FM, that's a really great place to start. And then you can start to spread that out. So then you can try ABC Radio Melbourne. You might want to try Channel 9 News, the Herald Sun, the Age, and then go further to national publications like the Australian. It just depends on who your ideal customer is, and if your particular story is newsworthy, if it has more of a local focus, or is it something that can be shared across the country or even internationally. So working out at home, that's absolutely a national story, even international. But if you're wanting to target people, say, just in your local area, then just pitch to your local media first. You don't have to go and pitch to the project straight away. I always suggest start small, go local, cut your teeth on your local media. Once you get a little bit familiar with that, then you can start to step it out. And you'll find as well that, say, if ABC Radio Ballarat interviewed somebody, say if it was Rachel with her marketing book and how, you know, relevant that is now for business owners to, you know, take the time to improve their marketing, their messaging, you might get a great conversation on ABC Radio Ballarat, and ABC Radio basically share their contacts right across the country. So then you might find out, you might get a call from ABC Radio Hobart, you might get a call from ABC Radio Townsville or Broome or Perth. So yeah, that's one of the beautiful things, is the media watch each other and listen to each other. And when a good story pops up, if it's relevant to their audience, then, you know, quite often you'll get that phone call. So that's that. In terms of who to contact, you're looking at producers of radio and TV, and editors of print and online publications. They can be a bit tricky to get actual names, but again, with ABC Radio, they're fantastic because they don't have any gatekeepers. So you can just Google ABC Radio Ballarat. There'll be a phone number for contact us. There'll also be a contact us button where you can basically fill in content to contact them. But you can ring up reception and say, you know, hey, my name's Dorothy. I've got this local networking group that we're putting online. Who should I send a media release to? And they will give you the name and the email address of who to send that to. So you can do that right around the country with ABC Radio. And yeah, that's really easy. Other media places are a lot more guarded, so they don't, you know, they've got the gatekeepers up. So, you know, you can't just ring up and get the producer of Sunrise or the Today Show or The Project, for example. A few of those details I have. I don't have all of them. So you've got to do a little bit of, I guess, super sleuth work in terms of contacting. And the other thing is, I guess, how do you get their attention? So the best way to get someone's attention in the media, if they don't know you, so if you haven't really had much media experience before, is to write a well-crafted media release. There's a bit of a knack to that. There's a bit of a formula. My dog is jumping on me. I thought I locked you out. Hop down, miss. Hop down.
It's always welcome at the virtual care basket and cafe events. We have them all the time.
Yeah, I'm normally sitting, but I've got my desk up, so you can't see her. But I did just shut the door to put her.
She's determined to join us.
Yeah, she is. Kat will probably join as well at some stage. So your media release. And then the most important thing, so if you're thinking, if you're the producer, say, your name's Matt Mitchell and you're the producer for today's show, right? You'll start your day at typically 3:30 a.m. You'll listen to ABC news broadcasts for their breaking news stories. Then they'll look at generally the breaking news stories of the newspapers all around the country. So what's front page? And then he says he'll go to his inbox, and every single morning he will have hundreds of emails from people like us trying to get through our story to them, because we want to be interviewed on the Today Show, right? That's got some great credibility and also really good to leverage. And he said the most important thing for him is the headline or the subject line of your email. So that is generally the headline of your news, of your media release, okay? So the headline that you use for your media release becomes the subject line for your email. And anybody within, he's generally the headline of your news, of your media release, okay? So the headline that you use for your media release becomes the subject line for your email. What's happening there? Anybody within...
I don't know. I can hear you twice, and I thought someone was asking a question.
So did I stopped. I mean, hang on. No, that's me. That's a weird... To your email.
I can hear it now, though. Is anyone playing? I'm just going to mute Kylie. I think she might have been on the Facebook Live, and hello.
Oh, it might have been a bit of a delay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
So,
cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Kylie. Where was I? Yeah. So your headline, and it has to trigger attention. So Dorothy, you will know. Rachel, you will know. Ace, you will know as well. Headlines have to trigger attention. So you've got to use words that are talking to me-centricity, that are calling out groups by their name. So if it's Gen X or baby boomers or women, it has to draw people's attention. Otherwise, your media release won't get a look in. And that's probably the most challenging part.
I find it really hard to come up with compelling subject lines or media release titles. So
yeah, it's by far the hardest. Definitely. And quite often I'll jot down maybe 2 or 3 headlines, and then I'll get into the media release, and then I'll come back and have a think about
when you're writing the media release, something in that might pop out as like a key thing that might interest them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when I was having that conversation with Rachel last week, and thanks for that referral too, we had a chat for an hour, and I always take lots of notes when I'm chatting to people, and it just went boom. And I went, oh, there it is. And I said, here's the headline that we'll go with. And she said, that's fantastic. So yeah, that's why I like to, I guess, write and stew over things first, and then generally that headline will come. But yeah, that's the most crucial thing. If you don't have a relationship with anyone in the media and you're cold pitching to them, headline is crucial. Yeah.
So what I've found, I'm just going to pin my video. I've been in the newspaper quite a lot and on radio, but I haven't done TV. That scares the crap out of me. I don't know if anyone else would be terrified of going on the Today Show. So I'd probably need some coaching for you if that ever happened. And I'd need my roots done. I can just see my roots all of a sudden. What I've found for me is that once you have a relationship with a journalist at a particular media outlet, they're more likely to use you again if you are good. And so I know that in the past, a journalist that I knew at the Courier, I could just email them and pitch something, or a few times I've written the whole story and had quotes in there and everything as the media release, but really just emailed it to them and they've just popped it in verbatim. They haven't done anything to it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that can happen as well. More often than not, they will make some changes. But I pitched a story. It was locally. So the guys at MRL Media have put together a series of 6 videos on how to video conference effectively for people that don't know. So free videos, you know, and it talks about lighting and setting up your camera and the distance. And so you're not looking up people's noses or, you know, looking down, and you don't have inappropriate photos in the background or mess behind you, things like that. So I wrote the media release, sent it to my contact, and yeah, that was the first time that actually basically printed it verbatim. But she said, that was really well written. Should you make my job too easy? But generally, they will contact you. A journalist will contact you and interview you, and generally they'll send out a photographer. I know, as you said, that the Courier is sending out photographers and still using their social distancing, and the journos are doing interviews over the phone.
And I think the photography stopped as of the weekend. The photographer was forced to go on 2 weeks holiday. I just want to share some comments so Rachel shared that ABC also have all their podcasts, which also go a lot of them are on Radio National. So you can also target specific podcasts and shows that they have, and so not just that ABC Ballarat or wherever you live. And then she also mentioned that effective headline will really depend on what's important to the journalists on that day, and that's totally true. And you could pitch it one week and not get nothing, and then suddenly that idea is all topical.
Yeah. So that's a great point, Rachel. It's really important to be aware of what is trending in the media. So obviously now the virus is trending everywhere, but what is also trending off that? So we're looking at health and wellness, which is Kylie, where I tagged you in a post the other day. So people looking for health and wellness immunity. We're coming into the colder weather in Ballarat, so that's also a time for boosting immunity, comfort foods. Kids at home. So how do we keep kids at home entertained? You know, how much screen time is good time? What about the resurrection of board games and family connection? I did share a video yesterday with Jacinda Ardern, and she was having a conversation with a psychologist in New Zealand, and I was actually quite relieved to see. He said, look, particularly with teenagers, if your teenager wants to live in their room for the next 4 weeks so they can connect with their mates, let them do that. If they want a game, he said, that's okay. Let them be in that space. It's not going to harm them. And I was like, because that's one of my kids at the moment.
I think the teenagers are the best ones who are doing the COVID-19 really well, because they are loving it. My teenager is in his room. You know, I said, mate, this COVID virus is really suiting you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my 14-year-old, he's fine. I drag him out for a bit of exercise, but he comes out, gets his food, back in with his mates. Yeah.
Thank God we've got technology. Imagine the team without it.
I know, right? That I'm very, very thankful for technology at this time. So yeah, look, if you're say, for example, launching a new website next week and you're looking for media attention, and it had nothing to do with the virus or health and wellness or business. So let's say it was a website for buying tires. Okay, they're not going to interview you. Nobody's driving. Tires are not topical unless you're pitching it to a car magazine. So you've just got to be, I always say, keep your ear to the ground. So for me, that means looking at my news in the morning on my phone, just the news app. I'll also look at The Guardian. I'll tune into ABC Radio where I can, just to see what they're talking about. And then that just lets me know, right, this is trending. These are what stories they're looking for. This is what they're talking about. Who do I know in this space that can comment? And quite often I might tag people. And then also the use of SourceBottle is a great little online tool. But so that's SourceBottle as in SOURCE. But I'm finding that is probably a bit saturated at the moment, and it's harder and harder to get traction on SourceBottle. But you'll find call outs there from journalists and people who are podcasting, people who have websites who are looking for contributors. And obviously there's been a lot in there with psychologists, mental health, wellness, exercise, business pivots. You know, that's all been there as well.
Can I just say something? Oh,
I've been, I look at Source Bottle quite regularly. I miss a few of them, but I've been on a podcast on parenting. I've been on, had articles. Last week I commented on how to have sex while your kids are at home. So I haven't seen that article yet, but I thought, well, having your kids at home is probably no different because you're normally not at home alone with your partner during the day bonking. So, but I thought, I'll just add some comments on that. So you can do really random things I just did it for fun, that one.
Yeah. Yep.
But I just did one last week and it was just on someone's blog and they just wanted comments. And I don't know, some of the quality of these blogs are a bit, but they were looking for comments on working from home, which I feel quite skilled at talking about. So that, there's just random things that you can do on Source Bottle that they don't always lead to anything much. But if people Google you, then you'll come up on lots of different platforms. And the one that they just published today, they backlink to your website and stuff like that. So, and it took me like 5 minutes of typing out some responses to some questions.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Source Bottle. It takes about 5 minutes. And probably about 2 years ago, there was someone in New Zealand, excuse me, who was looking for, free PR. How do you get PR for your business? And I just banged out something really quickly. And then he actually went, I think it went in the New Zealand Herald. So there was me and somebody else and quoted us, but he didn't even read it. He just copied and pasted. And then I saw an error and I was like, oh, okay.
I know they don't proofread it. So make sure you proofread it. I'm on all these people's blogs about writing and this and that. Yeah. It's like typos and it's on a writing, like it was independent authors or something. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So just, be aware of that, but some of them can be really good fun. There was a call out probably about 2 years ago before we moved back to Ballarat, and it said we want to know about your interest in first dates or what happened on your partner's first date or something. So I just said to my husband, I said, this is funny, I'm going to share the story of how we met, which was really quite funny. And so I sent that through, and then I got an email back and they said, oh, can you provide us with some more information? They rang me. We did a little interview over the phone, and it took about 6 weeks, and then they said, it's going to be published, and it was in That's Life or one of those magazines, which I don't generally read, but then they sent us a check for $50 afterwards. Like, oh no. I was like, bonus, but it was really funny.
Now we need to know, how did you meet? Just the little brief version. I've got to know now.
Okay. So it was coming up to 21 years ago this winter, and a girlfriend rang me in Perth, and she said, look, can we go out? She had a little 18-month at the time, and her and her partner had separated. She said, I want to go out. And I said, okay. Rap, one of my Maori mates, was going out on a boys' night, so I rang Rap and said, hey Rap, can Wendy and I crash a boys' night? He's like, yeah, no worries, sure thing. So we went over to Rap's house. It was Perth, but it was cold, and anyway, we're sitting down. There must have been about 4 Maori guys there, Wendy and I. And then these 2 other Maori guys rock up, right? And they come in and they look like real thugs. They're like big blokes dressed in black. So Joe, my husband, was there, and he had on a black puffer jacket and a black beanie, denim jeans, black boots, walked in with his Carlton Cold. And I just thought, geez, they look rough, like Corys, like real rough Maoris. And anyway, they said, all right, we're going to go into town now, into Northbridge. And Joe said, I'm driving. And my girlfriend said, I'm not getting in the car with him because he's drinking and driving. I said, yeah, okay, no worries. So I ended up going in the car with him in his VL Commodore with a spoiler on the back.
Oh, God.
And we got into Northbridge, parked out the front of the Aberdeen, a really nice pub. And Joe got out of the car, and he took off his jacket, and he had a blue chambray denim shirt with his rugby league. It was his rugby league club, so his playing shirt. And then he took off his beanie, and I just went, oh my God. And I just elbowed my girlfriend, Wendy, that is my target for tonight. And that was how we met. So 21 years later.
So it shows you anything can be a news story, people.
Yeah.
Meeting a handsome thug in a pub who turns out to be rather attractive.
Yeah, and very gentle. So, yeah, yeah, so
Lovely.
that they ran with that story. And then the funny thing was, I probably about 18 months ago, no, it might have been last year, my mum's camping with one of her friends in regional Victoria. And she goes, you wouldn't believe it. Gloria went to the laundry to do some washing at the caravan park, and she came back with this stack of magazines and said, here, if you want some reading. So Mum, so I just started flicking through them, and she said, I'm reading this article, and went, that sounds like Nicole and Joe. And she said, and then there was a photo of you and Joe. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, I did actually run with the story because we never saw it.
So there you go.
Yep.
So I thought we might open up now to questions, or maybe like a couple of hot seats if people want to hop in the hot seat with what they're doing in their business and see how Nicci can help us get some PR for you. So does anyone want to go first? You can unmute yourself, or you can type in the chat if you're too shy.
Yeah. Is anyone, can I go?
Yep. So Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie. Even though I have a background in naturopathy, that is not my area that I'm interested in at the moment. I'm also a psychotherapist. What I'm trying to do is to raise awareness of family violence.
Mm-hmm.
So I come from a comedy of errors or comedy of circumstances, and I fell into it. And I wanted to run with some information on red flags. What we find in family violence is a lot of people either see it as punitive, the court system, or welfare.
Mm-hmm.
It's a welfare system.
Mm-hmm.
So people who are functioning, educated, who are experiencing family violence don't know what family violence is. Even if we took that Hannah Clark, she didn't know what was family violence. Men don't know what is family violence. And I wanted to run with it. But again, with that, I also have to look at it ethically. We can actually escalate violence in the home if we raise some of those. If the woman is caught doing anything, or if she suddenly has knowledge and goes and says, oh, you know what, I think what you're doing is family violence, at the moment is not a great time. But then when is a great time?
Yeah, that's a really interesting topical subject that is getting a bit of news coverage. It is coming up on social media. And I think, there's been something are you in Ballarat, Jackie?
I'm in Ballarat, and actually got a whole folder of work done already.
Nice.
So we're ready to go. But it's taken me about a year to do it. Ready to go, but again, things keep holding me back for one reason or the other. We've got all the presentations, we've got all the bibliography. So I actually did a thesis on it 10 years ago, and I keep throwing it out, it keeps coming back. So that's where I'm looking for. I know, there is no time to be silent. Because whether we are silent or not, somebody is dying, somebody is getting hit, somebody's got their gun to their heads. Rural women are at a higher risk. Huge risk because of the isolation. I've had people who've left the home, walked 2 kilometers in the pitch black in summer. So I've been seeing family. I also ran, and I am an advocate for men, which is funny. So this is the area, we've got the material, we've got the content, we've got everything, just not getting there. Yeah.
So I'd be linking that to, increase in domestic violence with COVID-19. We know that one of the triggers for domestic violence is financial issues.
Absolutely.
So that is going to be key. It's going to be key in Ballarat because being a regional area, we obviously have increased levels of domestic violence. So that's something that I have seen some articles on in the career about that, and people just
recently
and community leaders flagging as well that this is a time that we need to be aware of it. I did see something, might have been online this morning or yesterday, I don't know, it was Victorian, I'm not sure if it was Ballarat, but about the possibility of sending the perpetrator to a hotel. So if they're caught or reports made on them, then they get taken out of the home and not the partner and the kids.
Yeah, the thing is they've always done that. They've always done that. Family violence is it is step by step, minute by minute changes. It is that's why nobody can pin it down.
Yeah. And
It's personality, it's home,
yeah.
it's the wife, it's the children, it's the circumstances, who is wrong, who is right.
Yep.
Every
Culture,
second it
upbringing.
changes
Yeah, I know.
because they move from a perpetrator to a victim to a rescuer.
Yeah.
So it is a
complex.
very complex area, but I just wanted to bring out maybe 3 or 4 sessions. And I think we were targeting with Aisha, I was meant to do it, got the dates wrong.
Yes, we'll have a session.
Maybe I should do it. Maybe
red
I should
flag
do it.
session. I
Yeah.
guess like for where you're at the moment, Jackie, you know, given that it is so topical and it is something like I personally have lived through family violence and left New South Wales with just my car and my child. And it wasn't until, and I left Grace's, my daughter's dad, sorry, I shouldn't name her, when she was 3 weeks old. So and I can imagine now if I was in that situation with that person, just how horrifying that would be. And mine wasn't physical abuse, it was emotional abuse, which was more insidious. And like, but I was locked in the house at times, but it wasn't until I left, you know, that I realized the circumstance that I was in because it was so subtle and over an extended period of time. So I think that, you know, now is the time to put that message out. So Nicci, what do you think, like just off the top of your head, would talking to like one of the local radio stations or the courier?
Yeah, I'd go for both, and talking about maybe the telltale signs and the increased trigger points at the moment. So loss of job, loss of income, even the loss of sport. So, you know, for some men, I guess, and women, that sport is a real outlet, both physically and mentally, and not having that and not being able to watch it as well has been a fundamental shift for people. So that can lead to increased tension and triggers, and then being, you know, just being in basically locked in 4 doors. And if you're in a smaller place and you've got multiple kids and there's relationship stress, you know, it's a bit of a recipe for disaster really for some people. So I think just putting the, you know, what are the triggers, what can people do as well? So looking at that solution. So if that is you and you are in Ballarat, what can you do? And then if you want to take it bigger, if you're in Victoria, what can you do? If you're in Australia, but you need to know what each state is doing and, you know, what they can do. So whether it's call centres, refuges.
The thing is, even if you called anyone at the moment, there is not a great deal. You'll be pressing the redial button.
Yeah. So I'd be looking at what can people do. So is it worth going to the media or is it not? Because
I think at the end of the day, it's to empower the individual within the home. That's all we can do at the moment. There's not a great deal, and especially if you're a farming community, you cannot do anything other than manage it at home. Thanks. I better get off so someone else can talk. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. All right. So did anyone else want to put the spotlight on what they're offering out at the moment? All right, I'm going to hand over to Rachel. She's going to step in.
I'm just curious about, there's a lot of talk around at what point do we go out and start selling or talking or getting our stories out again when it's, you know, we're in these, I suppose we've been in a real position in Victoria, particularly where we've had bushfires and then we've had COVID-19 and there's been a lot of businesses going, I can't go out and promote myself yet. What's your take on that sort of thing? And when do you go out with, you know, with not just the good news stories, but the actual stories about your business as well?
Great question. So a couple of things. People are still spending money, right? I did see a stat last week that Gen Z are spending, I think spending's up 17% more with them because they're not out driving, they're not out clubbing, they're not out drinking. So they're going a lot to online shopping. And I did, Kim Barrett is a friend of mine in Perth. He's a real social media guru. And he said, because I've had the same discussion with my mentor, and he said, there's opportunities out there. So as long as we're not taking advantage of people, but we're highlighting the opportunities. Okay. So I think I've said, I scored 3 new clients last week. So business for some people is still ticking along as normal. Some businesses are as busy. People who still have their jobs are still spending money. I know I'm still spending money online and I'm supporting some of our local businesses as well. So I think And that's what I'm saying to people is don't shut down and go, you know, I don't want to do anything because I don't want to be seen as being opportunistic. If there's an opportunity to share your business, to reach more people, to help people, that's why I always say is if you can think of it as you're helping people. So for example, selling your book, you're helping people. It's a great time at the moment because you know, they might have more downtime to put into reading and to upskilling. So yeah, how is your book going to help people? You know, it's a great story. You're a local business owner. It's your second book. Yeah, and now's a great time to get it out there. You've just got to watch with the media that as soon as they get a whiff that you're promoting your business, then they'll probably pull right back. So you've got to have that balance of here's a story. It's helping the masses. It's a good news story, or it's a story that's going to educate, inspire, or solve a problem. If you can do that, then they'll be more likely to run with it. But if they, for example, I've pitched a story to the Courier about referrals over breakfast and how that's going online. And so I got the okay that, yep, this could be a good story. I wrote the media release and I kind of felt, whoa, it's really teetering on that edge of promoting Rob. So the story hasn't run yet, but I've had another story that has gone through. So I kind of went, oh, it's not really promotionally because it's about helping people and the ease of doing business online instead of having to go to Melbourne to, you know, at 4:30 in the morning for a networking event, roll out of bed and jump on Zoom. So
That's
yeah, you just got to, you just got to find that balance.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect point what you just said then, as around that selling and media run away, and that's where a lot of businesses get it wrong as well because they don't pitch the story, they're pitching the sale.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. And as business owners, we're quite good at saying, or in our heads of thinking, this is our business, we're really good at what we do, this is what we do well. But that's not how you pitch a story to the business. It's about what are you doing, what problem are you solving, how are you helping people, what impact are you making, do you have a new solution, for example. So everything that I used to do with FIFO families was about helping predominantly women around the country who were struggling solo parenting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks on their own, and creating that community. So it was and a lot of media thought I was not for profit, but it was a company. But I never told them I was not for profit. I just kind of let that go. But it was, how could I help people? What was the message I wanted to deliver? How was I making an impact for people? And I'd take that message to the media and to the politicians, to local government, whoever wanted to listen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, it's a fine line to not blatantly promote your business. It's all about that story and that human element. That's what they're interested in.
And like if you do have a book like Rachel's, they're not interested in your actual book. Like they couldn't give a toss if you've self-published a book or whatever, unless there's got that story to go with it, which, at this time, it is relevant because people are looking at how to market differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've got, there's people that have stopped marketing because they're too scared because they don't want to be seen as being opportunistic. Other people are marketing. So what can you do at the moment to enhance your marketing? And I did see again, Kim Barrett said on his webinar the other day that Facebook at the moment, because so many people have just stopped advertising, it's the cheapest time to run ads and it has been the last 6 years.
Well, that's good to know, everyone.
So, yeah, he said people they've stopped their Instagram ads, have just put pause on everything. So now is a really good time to actually do targeted Facebook ads, just being really mindful of who your ideal customer is, what problem do they have, like how can you help them, what do they need right now, and having that cut through to get to that, and then, not being, again, seen as too opportunistic. But just think yourself, when you're on Facebook or Instagram or whatever and ads pop up that are obviously targeted to you, what are you clicking on? What's grabbing your attention? Is it a nice handbag? Is it, I don't know, shoes? Is it something for your dog? What's grabbing your attention? Because if you're going, oh, that's okay, that's interesting, that leather bag's on special, for example, and you go and click, that's how you could be positioning yourself. You see what I mean? So people are still clicking, they're still going, yeah, let's check this out. There's a lot of sales on at the moment, which is, which is great. So yeah, people are making money.
And I like your point about making it relevant. Rachel and I were on a virtual boardroom with some American and Canadians the other day, and we were talking about how, like, some people I know, like big names, are still going along on their marketing schedule as if nothing's happening. And when you see it, you feel, it feels horrible. Like it's not contextualized or anything. Yeah. I'm more talking about services and webinars and stuff like that, not handbags. But yes, I'd like to invite Kylie Nichols just on to have a little share right now, if that's all right.
Yeah.
And you're muted, so we need to unmute you. There we go. Welcome, Kylie.
Hi Aisha. Hi everyone. Not so much wanting to pitch anything, but just share some ideas that I've had around what I can be doing to support people from the health and wellness aspect, given that I usually work with clients around mental health, stress, anxiety, immunity, and trying to pivot a little bit. So I'm getting online, hopefully, once I get over that kind of initial fear. But I've got a couple of ideas. As some of you might have seen, I'm working up a few blends, essential oil blends, to target inner calm is one, and the other one, inner strength, which is more around immunity. But also I'm wanting to, I can't work with clients obviously at the moment, but wanting to still share my skills and tips and strategies. So I'm thinking about doing some Facebook Live sessions. And I'm going to call them Daily Connect, bit of a play on my business name, which is Healthy Connect.
Yeah.
And just quick sort of Facebook Live sessions and sharing each day. It might be some acupressure points for stress, or it might be some information about essential oils, or it may be some energy balancing techniques just to try and support people in the community. And then also in terms of trying to still have some sort of support in a group atmosphere, doing some Zoom sessions. And I'm thinking about energy balancing boot camps.
Yeah.
So they're just ideas. I'm kind of a bit procrastinating through overwhelm at the moment with lots of ideas, but need to sort of get a little bit of feedback, I guess, on whether that might be some ways to go at the moment moving forward. So I guess just interested in some feedback.
Yeah, I definitely do that. So I bought Kylie's oils. She delivered them to my door, which is fantastic, and they're divine. I'm really enjoying them. And I think I said to you so what are the oils that are in there? Like a post would be great, or even a live. So what are the oils that are in those mixes, and why are they particularly good for inner calm and the immunity or the inner strength?
Yep.
So because that's a great little educational post. And then if somebody likes that or talks about a certain oil, then you can go down that track. I'd still be looking at, so why do people come to you in the first place? So you've said mental health, stress, anxiety, and energy. So I'd still be doing the virtual sessions, so Zoom sessions with people. They can still see you, they can still book in with you, they can still talk to you about the same things. You can still, remedy the oils or whatever else you use and drop them in the house, or they can pick them up from you. That still happens, but I'd be really getting that out there. So Facebook Lives, emailing to your database as well, putting that on LinkedIn, so because a lot of people love their oils. So these are the oils that, are working. This is what I'm diffusing today, or this is what I'm putting on my body or digesting in your shake or whatever. Acupuncture points, meditation. What can people do to balance out their energy? I'll be definitely doing all of that. And you will see in Perth, because I would keep referring back to Perth because I was there for 23 years. So they would have in the West Australian on a Wednesday health and wellness folder, and quite often that would have alternative modalities. So the media is still interested in that. So, you know, what are the oils we should be using now as we're coming into the cooler climates? What's going to help us? You know, lavender, for example, very calming, going to be great for the kids. Put some on your pillowcase at night to help you calm down. Can you put those on your acupressure points? So all of those things where you can help people just get grounded.
Yeah.
And yeah, do it. Yep. Even the courier, I don't know, they mightn't run with it, but they might. And definitely there'll be podcasts out there as well. So I know Rachel referred to podcasts earlier. Podcasters are always looking for people to interview. So just, you know, go onto your podcast service and just Google health and wellness or oils, and there'll be people that you can just pitch to and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Thought you might be interested. Can talk about A, B, C, D, and just pitch to them because, you can get a lot of traction that way. I certainly know a lot of people that are getting podcast interviews at the moment.
Great. I think both of that idea would work for Jackie's topic as well. And I don't know, Donna Lynn, what your topic is, whether that would tie in, but there's so many opportunities right now. So thank you for sharing. Kylie, did you want to finish off with anything in response to that?
No, that's great. I just, thanks for the feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I just add something to Kylie? Kylie, you also got to be quite careful of making any claims. The TGA is cracking down, right? So you just got to be very, very careful of making any claims. So using it very generic is fine, keeping it as, you know, home remedies. And also a lot of people, you do not ingest essential oils, right? So a lot of people are providing to ingesting. Just be very careful. In clinic, I've seen people with ulcers in their tummy and stuff like that because they're ingesting essential oils. So just be careful. The TGA is on the lookout too for healthcare professionals, especially complementary ones.
Yes.
That's it. But anyway, I think it's a great idea. Go for it.
Yeah, and even looking at kids. So, you know, what are some acupressure points for kids to help calm kids? What oils can kids use? You know, if it's, as I said, when they're going to bed or in the bath.
And kids love essential oils. Like you should see next to my desk, I've got all these like little essential oil things that I've made up. And one actually is my son's, but it was so nice. We went to an essential oil making class. But it's sort of like if people have oils at home, maybe you could have like a little DIY. It's hard because I don't know, you know, like maybe like you could, if you've got kits like this, people could have a prescription just for them, you know, based on what they're going through as well.
Yep.
So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
You could even look at, this is a little bit, might be two steps down the track, but even having a membership base. So doing a Zoom call once a week with, 10 women in Ballarat or, 10 families or something where they're at, and then talking about, okay, well, let's look at a little remedy for your family or for your kids or you or your partner or whatever. And then they pay you, I don't know, $100 a month or something that gets the oils and the little bottles and, full Zoom calls, something like that. Yeah.
Time to be creative. Yes.
Yeah. Because you can still what's really important is once we get to the other side of this is that people are going to be, they're looking for advice and leadership and people who are out there talking at the moment because they want information and they want to be able to get through this. And it's the people who are going to be consistent and communicating with the audience that are going to come out the other side better. If you freeze and stop and then just come out all guns a-blazing on the other side, it's probably not going to be.
I agree with that. I've been saying, and Rachel has too, it's like this is where we've got this like bowl of chaff and wheat and then, or cream. I should find a better analogy, but basically this is a time where people are going to notice who's doing stuff out there in a really positive way. So this is your opportunity when all of this is over, which it will eventually be over. People are going to remember those of us who stood up and were leaders and were proactive. So this is a really good opportunity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
So did anyone else want to ask a question from Nicci?
Is Jen still on?
Yes, do you want to come on, Jen? Are you happy to talk? Nod
Jen,
your
do you
head.
want to, because Jen sent me a couple of messages last night. So did you want to explore any of that? Putting you on the spot, Jen, sorry.
Hello.
Yeah, so I'm sort of going back to basics with my business. Well, it's sort of just been plodding along for the last couple of years without really any clear direction, because I just want to edit, basically. But I don't know how to market to people, how to get people interested. I run a writing group which only has myself and 2 other people. And that's probably the main thing that I want to be getting people into at this point in time, because it's a hobby. It's where people can actually, they haven't had the time before to focus on their writing. So it's a platform that I initially designed to help me with my writing, because I find that I run into issues with my plot and I don't know how to get myself out of it. And my husband's a writer as well. And so we'd talk it over and he'd throw ideas at me and I'd go, yeah, nah, yeah. Oh, that one is not exactly what I want, but it sparked an idea of how I can get myself out of the plot hole that I've written myself into. And so that's the sort of thing that I want to be doing with the writing group is, giving a weekly challenge so that people are actually writing something each week, but also having the having sort of a platform or a forum where writers can ask their questions like, I've got this plot hole, I don't know how to get out of it, please help, sort of thing. So yeah, I just don't know how to
How to reach those people?
Yeah, how to reach those people.
Yeah. I think you're in a really nice position at the moment, and I'd probably have a chat with Aisha about maybe doing some social media ads, because it is so cheap at the moment, and because there will be people who are kind of going, well, now I might actually turn to do some writing because I've got this free time on my hand. Even doing something like a, search and rescue for all budding writers. Who's out there, who's writing? Do you need assistance? Do you feel stuck? You don't know where to go? What's next? Hey, I've got this writers group, and then set up a membership off the back of that and try and build it to, 10 or 20 people. And you could take that far and wide. You could do it right across the country at the moment, because the ads are so much cheaper. It'd just be really important to have that copy that's targeting your ideal customers. But what you sent me on the message last night when I said to you, excuse me, what are your ideal clients looking for at the moment, and what's the one thing you can help me with? The answers that you gave me back were quite good. So I'd be maybe having a chat to Aisha about that in terms of, well, how do I turn that into ads? How can I reach more people?
Yep.
With that. Yeah.
And then the good thing about Jen is you already have a system and a setup for your writing community already. So it's just a matter of bringing more people into that. And with people having so much time on their hands, and every second person you meet at least wants to write a book. And, I'm more a non-fiction book coach in the past. So I can't help people with fiction. So I'm like, oh, go to Jen. So it's a great opportunity really, and it's also for mental health. Like there's different angles you can take, because writing is such a beautiful process for helping people deal with, like you could even do like a COVID-19 challenge where people document each day what they're going through, but make it more fanciful, because it's actually not that extreme in some ways for our day-to-day life. So
yeah, definitely. And then you could actually pitch that to the Courier as well. Or even ABC Radio, they could be quite interested in that. ABC Radio Ballarat, in terms of, writers and people being creative at home, but where do they put that creative energy if they want to take it that step further? So that's something I think you could definitely write up as a media release and pitch. So I'm happy to help you with that as well. Because I think you're in a really opportune moment at the, to help people with their writing. And I was going to suggest that as well about the, COVID-19. So on Source Bottle last week, there was a call out. A guy in New South Wales is compiling isolation diaries. So you send in a video every day and you might answer some questions that he has, or you might just talk about your day and what that looks like. But you could absolutely do the same thing with writing, because this is a pivotal time in history, right? And we're part of it, and we're in it at the moment, probably not thinking that much of it. But, you know, if you were to document that, if you were to drive down Sturt Street or your local street and to see the empty shops and doors closed and, you know, schools empty, or you know, if it's a nice sunny day at 5 o'clock, you might video how many people are actually out exercising at the same time. So there's all these things that we could document that's going to be part of our history moving forward.
And I think that's a really good point, because this is a watershed moment that in 200 years' time, like nothing has ever been like this on the planet ever before. So it's actually, from a writing point of view, it's going to be fabulous if we can have some real life documenting, or even some fanciful expression of that. I know one of the year 12 books that people are doing was about a flu that took off around the world and caused chaos. So sometimes fiction is not as strange as reality. But yeah, did you want to finish off, Jen, with any comments?
No, I think that's it.
So you'll be in touch with various people, and yeah, you've got something to offer, and this might be your time to shine in, and just to take that opportunity. And it's not like, you know, roadkill and scavenging. It's like you're going to offer something really valuable to people.
Yeah. And if you are feeling a little bit, even you said, Aisha, about going on TV, is if you feel like, you know, if you are particularly introverted and speaking to other people and putting yourself out there just scares the bejesus out of you, my advice is, what's your why? Why did you start your business, and how big do you want your business to grow? Because if you do use targeted media, that's one of the fastest, quickest ways for you to build your business and to reach your ideal customer, is through media, because you're being endorsed by a third party that you're credible, you're trustworthy, that you know your stuff. And you can leverage it through your social media channels, through your Insta, your Facebook and LinkedIn. So yeah, if that imposter syndrome and insecurities do come up, the best way I can say, but I am extroverted, but the best way I can say is, what's your why? How big do you want your business to go? And you've kind of got to get out of your own way to share your story, to reach more customers. Because if it is financial freedom or helping 6 people write their dream books, whatever that is for you, this is one of the easiest ways to do it.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you everyone for joining us, and a big thank you to Nicci for sharing your expertise.
Pleasure.
You can find out more about Nicci at HIGH hyphen profitmedia.com, and I've put that in the comments. And yeah, I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you to Nicci. Let's give her some love.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone.
And so if you're interested, we've got more events coming up this week for the Virtual Care Basket. That's virtualcarebasket.com. Tomorrow we've got laughter yoga in the afternoon, and in the morning, Rachel Allen, who's on this call with us, will be hosting Mum's Time at 11:30 Melbourne time. And then on Wednesday, we have our virtual coffee at 10 a.m. And at 12 o'clock, I will be talking to an amazing end-of-life consultant, Rose Sexton, about advanced care planning, which is all about thinking about what happens if you do end up in hospital, or, you know, not very well, and people have to make decisions about your health. And we are actually doing essential oils on Friday with Kay Hamilton from Tasmania. So we've got lots coming up, and we have a virtual boardroom at 8 a.m. It's a bit early now that the time zone's changed, 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. So you can actually bring your business questions to that as well. So all of those details are on the virtualcarebasket.com website. So I want to thank you everyone for coming, and thank you again, Nicci, and have a fabulous day, everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Aisha again. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to subscribe and to check out the website virtualcarebasket.com. You can also find out more about me at aishahilton.com. Have a fabulous day.